Hey, I'm David. I'm the co-creator of MCP and member of technical staff at Anthropic. I think it's hard to describe what the first year of MCP felt like, because when you create a project like MCP, particularly we're together as like a team of two within a company for a specific purpose, you don't expect it to be like a de facto standard a year later. I think nobody starts out and trying to create a standard. So it's been quite a wild ride, like from this inception point like a year ago to make this open source project, to seeing like the community just picking it up, building servers, and just like really feeling that there was this like need in the world and in the industry for like really like taking models and like connecting them to like your workflows. It's been absolutely crazy, and I'm just super grateful to be in it, to be fair. Just to take you back, like where this all started, it was like roughly in August, like last year, when I had this like constant frustration with copying things in and out of Cloud Desktop, and really like felt like there's a need for something to connect to Cloud Desktop and like being able to like program that myself. And I brought this to Justin in this like little conference room up in London where we work, and we were like, oh, there should probably be a protocol. And at the time we were just like building this internally at Anthropic, and we were building this into our products. And then we had this like inception point in October when we had like a hackathon at Anthropic, and everybody was able to build with whatever they wanted to do. But it turns out just everybody built on top of MCP, from like, you know, really cool UX ideas to like people like steering 3D printers with MCP. It was really like so cool to see. And that was, I think, when the moment where like a lot of people inside Anthropic really realized the potential here. And that's when we like really had the conviction to like make this an open ecosystem, like put it out there as an open source project. And I'm super grateful that at the time, Mike Krieger, our chief product officer, was really like believing in it and like allowing us to do this. And so, yeah, that was really the inception point, like just before the open source release. I think in any type of like big corporation or any kind of company, you will have dissenting voices, and there were a lot of people who were like, oh, is this really a thing? Or why would we want to build an open ecosystem or open source it? Or is this even valuable for us at the moment? And so you have these people, but I think as we have been building more, as there has been like more like people showing demos internally of like what they can do, I think it became quite clear that there is something to it. And eventually we were just like, let's just do it and see what happens. I think just sometimes you just need that to like have that confidence and like, okay, let's just roll with it. And if not, you know, in a year from now, and like nobody talks about it anymore, and you know, we just move on to the next thing. Just gotta try it. Yeah, I think the conversation really like was about like, what's the benefit? Is it worth the effort we're putting this into products? I think it was very clear for us that if we're gonna do this, like both Justin and I are really like old school people from the open source community. You really believe that a protocol needs to be open. It needs to be there for like clients to implement, for servers, folks who like people want to build servers to implement it and see it in the open, being able to look at the SDKs, look at the specification. A protocol really can only exist in the open in my mind. And so I think it was always clear that we're going to do that. It's just more of a question, is it worth the effort at the time? Is it the thing that's needed? But I think when you really look at it, you describe it as like, hey, the models at the time were really like basically a little bit like brain in a jar, like bound to these like applications. They had no ability to like do the thing that you needed it to do. Like it had like some connectivity, but not really like what you wanted to do, right? And I think it was pretty clear that you needed something like that. And I think then, you know, it was pretty clear that that's what we wanted to do there. I think so. I think it's been the right direction, the right thing to do this in the open. I think it could have not worked in any other way in my mind, but also I really just want to do something that I feel benefits everyone in a way. And so I think I would have not done it any different way, and I would have probably not wanted to be part of anything differently. And then the other part to that is I think I'm very happy where like I could have not predicted the success it has so far. And so in that regard, like I couldn't be happier. I guess, you know, there's always like what ifs, but in the end of the day, you just gotta be like happy with what you got. And I think, you know, to be frank, I personally don't think it could have been any better. the enthusiasm from the community has definitely caught me by surprise. I'm maybe not the most optimistic person in the world. And I told Justin at the time, like, I'm not sure if in a month from now anybody will talk about this. And so seeing, the community build around Thanksgiving, the community build around Christmas after, the first big clients like the Curtis of the world and VS Codes of the world adopting it, to like the crazy week when like OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, all of them like said that they're gonna like adopt it. It's just been an absolutely wild ride, and I think something that I definitely did not predict. And I think even if you asked me a year ago, what is the best case scenario, would have not been anything like that. I definitely loved like when events like this happens, like MCP night 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 happens, and you just see the energy on like the social media feeds of like people standing in line and just like the craziness, and like people sending me like photos of stickers and in the city. It's super encouraging. Like it's a bit wild in a way, but it's super encouraging to see so many people really being interested in what you've built and really want to see it, and like then seeing it also translate into like servers being built, the clients being built, and it's just like really great to see the creativity that the community has brought to MCP, but also like just the things that they have built. And that's, I think, it's just joy to put this little thing out there and then seeing so many people build so many amazing things around it. And then of course like this event and this crazy like location is just like beautiful. I love it. Yeah, so very early around March, when we saw the first parts of adoption, we knew that eventually we need to find a spot or like a home for MCP that is completely neutral, right? Like in the end of the day, the AI industry is fairly competitive, and I think it's in order to make sure that our protocol truly stays neutral in the future and everybody is confident adopting it, it needs to have a neutral home. And so very early, this idea of like having some form of a neutral home like the Linux Foundation was there, and from there on it was just finding the right partners in creating and finding the right form factor of like what we want to do. And I'm honestly super excited to have like not just being able to get a great home for MCP, but also creating what I hope will be like just a great place and space for more agentic AI projects to from the open source community to come and thrive under the stewardship of the AIF. I think there's a few things that I'm really excited about MCP in the future. Number one, I think there are one or two really big pieces that we really want to evolve in the protocol. The one thing we have seen in the recent specification called task, which really allows for these asynchronous operations, which I think really enables more agentic to agentic or agent to agent communication using MCP, which I'm really looking forward to see what people will do with it. I think there's another iteration of like improving like some part of the transport protocol that we currently have. So those are the big items. But then I think what I'm really excited for is seeing this continuous creativity of the community in building servers, building increasingly better servers and making like my life as a consumer easier. But most importantly, what I'm really excited for is the next iteration of seeing how clients get better and better, that the mechanics of the protocol become less important, and that in the end of the day, hopefully in a year from now, people will just be able to connect their workflow to what they need, and they don't know it's MCP. Of course it is MCP, but they don't know. For them, it's just an AI model doing the right thing for them and helping them getting a task done, and it's all magic, and under the hood, hopefully MCP. When it comes to like MCP servers that I have really found very creative and I did not expect people to do, coming from the hacker culture in Germany, and I absolutely love when people get really creative and connect like real world items to it. Like there's this one person who built an MCP server to connect the model to a synthesizer and create synthesizer patches from it. And this is the type of creativity that I absolutely love. The same way I love when people like connect the Blender or Ableton to models. And I love this type of creativity of things I've not seen before.